So I'm here with Professor Jeremy Frey, who did a talk on IT as utility at Creative Digifest today. So what is IT as a utility?
Well, that's a very good question. IT as utility is the idea that we will be able to use IT services and obtain information in much the same way that we obtain electricity or water. That we turn on the tap, we expect it to come out, and we expect to be charged correctly for it. Sometimes we aren't, and sometimes we are surprised. But with IT, at the moment, these services are usually rather more difficult to obtain. And then when we obtain them, there are some questions about whether we trust them or not. And the whole idea is to try and move things on to make these services and the information that they can provide much more readily available to the wider public when and where they need it in an easy and timely fashion.
So it's all about improving things, really. How does it all work?
Well, that's the problem is that at the moment things work, but they work with difficulty. It's not a smooth user experience, and one doesn't know whether or not you can trust the source, whether or not it will work or whether it will work another time. So it really is about understanding how users can engage with the sources of information. The sort of technology, smartphones have made it much easier, but it's not all about smartphones. There are other ways we need to access information. But equally well, there have to be people supplying these services, and there has to be a basis on which they can supply it and indeed make some money, and there are other networks running looking at the economic models behind that. So it is all about understanding what people need to use these services, make them available, trust them, and deliver it in an easy-to-use fashion. So it's all really about the people being at the centre of this rather than the technology.
Oh, I like that, sort of moving forward with it, isn't it? So who would you say is mostly impacted by it if it's all about the people?
Well, it is the people. So I have to distinguish here between IT as a utility as an idea, which is really everybody, in every place that they might be, and in all circumstances of their life, from young to old, when they may need more or less support. But the network is about building up a network of researchers in this area, working with researchers in academia, in industry, bringing them together and bringing the sort of, in this particular case of the four networks that are around, the IT as a utility one, particularly spans those technology areas of the suppliers of the infrastructure, which clearly without the infrastructure nothing will work. They're very high-tech people with those people who have to actually use it. And it's bringing these different research communities together. So the network itself is designed to grow this research area between academia and industry and grow the research, which will then yield things that will impact on the wider community.
Okay, so it's going to impact everybody, so it's going to be quite important. What is the importance of using IT as a utility?
Well, it means that we'll use it. If we can't make it utility, it's much more difficult to use. And when you make things as utility, their cost often falls. So if you can do it, and you can supply IT in a way that is uniform and easy, and the standards work, so things interoperate, it'll be much easier for users to pick it up, and it'll be cheaper. So it's a commodification of the information sources. Now, there is an open question about just whether everything will be able to go this route and just how desirable. But for many things, it clearly is, and will open up access to the information sources to a much wider range of people who will then feel empowered to use it. Maybe they will then feel happy about returning useful information to the community at large, from which the community can also benefit. So it's a two-way process.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. I wish you good luck with it all.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay.